Welcome
Cut the
to
whole thing out. Sorry.
John. I was
I said
mid.
just cut the whole thing out.
I was mid intro. You've never done that to me. Well, now I just have to roll with it. Welcome to RetroLogic episode 72. I'm Dan Caparello here with John Cummins, of course, who interrupted me early on, Sam Wagers, and our very special guest, Moses, the well-read mage from the Pixels website, blog. What is the Pixels?
It's an e-zine. No, just kidding. I don't know what it is. It's a publication. We'll say that.
It's what you do.
It's whatever
a website.
you want it to be, Dan.
It's a place. It's a place you can go to.
Yes.
But RetroLogic isn't just a podcast. It's also a community. Visit retrologic.games, scroll down, click the Discord link, and jump into the least toxic bunch of retro gamers on the internet, self-proclaimed. We have weekly giveaways, question submissions, collection show and tell, and more. Join today for all of that fun. So Moses, this is your first time on RetroLogic. I've been with you twice now on the what do you call it? The well-read Magecast?
E-zine. Yeah, Magecast. Magecast podcast.
So it's about damn time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you twisted my arm enough, and I'm happy to be here.
No,
Thanks for having me.
I just had to have a game that you wanted to talk about. That's it. And then you begged me.
Yes. I mean, I was like, I'm not talking about Plock. You could beg on your knees as much as you want. I'm not going to talk about Plock. Not going to happen.
2 minutes in and we already said the P word.
Clock.
Why don't you just tell our listeners real quick about what you do, where they can find you and all that stuff so we can get that in early.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction. I think you said a well-read mage, which I love, because we're all red mages deep down inside.
Just one of them.
Is one of many. Yeah. I am Moses Norton, author, blogger, writer, podcaster, streamer, and I play video games sometimes. It's a pleasure to be here. Magecast podcast, like you mentioned earlier, is a weekly show that does deep dives into games. We did Final Fantasy VI recently, and we have Command and Conquer coming up. Dan from RetroLogic was on the last one you were on was the GoldenEye.
Oh, GoldenEye was the last one, yeah.
Star Fox was the first one, yeah. Then we did GoldenEye. That was I still haven't recovered from that one. That was good.
Yeah, that was a lot. I will say that the Star Fox conversation was genuinely like super fun and just really just interesting, and you made me think about stuff about Star Fox I hadn't thought of before. So it's a great listen and a great
awesome
talk. So just a bit of housekeeping before we jump into things. March, we have decided what March is. We had Breath of Fire Brewery, and so March is going to be Paper Marchio. Decided by our community. This game is available on the NSO Expansion Pack. It's available on Wii U, or it's available on N64 if you want to spend $90 to find a copy. Hopefully you already have one. Play along with us. Play some Paper Mario. You don't have to beat it. You just have to play enough of it to have an opinion, which according to Twitter is almost zero. So play along, play Paper Mario, not Thousand Year Door, just the original on N64. And that's going to be March. So join in. Let's jump into our icebreaker, guys. Moses, since you're our guest, why don't you go first? What have you been playing? Did you buy anything this week? What's been going on in your gaming life?
I did buy some things last week. Elden Ring came out, and I've never played Soulsborne or Blood Souls or whatever the heck they're calling it.
Blood Souls.
Blood Souls. I played a little bit of Sekiro, and that was fun. My FromSoft experience is mostly Armored Core, old school action
nice.
mech games. Yeah, they're fun.
Yep.
There's an upcoming one I just learned recently, so I'm looking forward to that. So going into Elden Ring mostly blind, and it's been fun. Also picked up the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, which has been a delight. The music is gorgeous, revisited by Uematsu himself. And lastly, I picked up some Command and Conquer Red Alert remasters, which has also been fun to revisit. I'd been a console peasant for many years, So, and you don't really want to play RTSs on consoles. You kind of want to play them on PC.
No,
so I
you
got a
super
PC
don't.
recently. Yeah.
Play them on the N64. Come on.
Oh my gosh, you remember that N64 StarCraft?
Goodness.
There was also N64 Command and Conquer, which I have.
Yeah.
I had this
not played that one.
interaction. I had this interaction with somebody where it's who is it? It's like the Brews and Games or something. They like drink beers and play games. I don't know. Anyway, we're acquaintances on Twitter, and they were singing the praises of StarCraft 64. And I remember having an interaction with them where they were crapping on Donkey Kong 64, and I had to call them out. I was like, you guys, you cannot in one hand like crap on Donkey Kong 64 and then praise StarCraft 64. That's just not, you're just objectively wrong in that moment.
That's how you know somebody has bad opinions. There you go.
It was a good time. It's a good time.
PS1 Command and Conquer Red Alert wasn't so bad, but
That's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, it's stuff you'd rather. I mean, at least I'd rather play on a PC. So excited to play a lot of RTSs again.
Yeah, because there's not very many strategy games coming out. So, I mean, you got to get your fixes. You got to get your fix.
There's
somehow.
not a whole lot
Did
of.
you just say that?
RTSs.
No, they're not RTSs. That's true.
Yeah.
There's not. Real time strategy is kind of like gone wayside here.
Pretty
lately.
dead.
It's not a whole lot of them.
You know what? I did just pick up.
Not just lately. It's been dormant a while.
Yeah.
That's a back burner thing, but I did just pick up a new one, Total War 3, Total War Warhammer 3. What a stupid name.
Yeah.
That just came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's an RTS / real strategy world whatever.
Yeah.
It's got a campaign.
I think they may be coming back too. I mean, Age of Empires came back last year.
Isn't
So.
the Dune strategy game an RTS?
The new one coming?
Yeah.
I think it might be.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it might have RTS elements, which is rad. I can't wait to see that. Yeah.
Let's do it. More games need RTS elements. That's what I'm talking about. Screw RPG elements. Let's get that's so like 2010. Let's get some RTS elements. That's what Pikmin is. Pikmin is just, an action game with RTS elements.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, Moses. Sam, what about you? Bought and played?
Well, I'll start with played because I've been playing some Steam Next Fest demos that I think you in particular might find really interesting, Dan, because they have some Pikmin elements. A game called Tinykin, which is coming to the Switch. I double checked.
Well, then I'll play
plan
it,
to come to
probably.
the Switch. Very much Pikmin in its premise. You're a little dude who is exploring this. It's inside. All the environments seem to be indoors, so I guess that's different. But you gather these little guys called Tinykin that have different abilities, and you throw them at things to make them do things. But it is structured differently.
Chibi Robo meets Pikmin right now, which is 1,000% in my wheelhouse.
Kind of. I mean, it's very much more collectathon. But I was actually really impressed with the demo. After you get out of the tutorial area, the first big room is just so full of stuff. It's very dense. There's just stuff everywhere, and there's stuff to find behind and underneath and on top of everything in that room. And it's not even my kind of game, but I was impressed with it. So keep an eye out for that one. The demo's up on Steam right now. I believe it. Usually with Next Fest, the demos do stay up after the event ends, but sometimes they don't. The other one that I played was called Whisker Squadron, and that game is basically indie Star Fox.
Okay.
Pretty much down to the premise. It is. I mean, again, it's not 1-to-1. So they're doing the roguelike thing. So it is procedurally generated levels. Some of them are on rails, like flying through a trench, but the enemy spawns will be semi-randomized.
Oh my gosh! Even the logo
kind of loops.
Even the logo is. Star
I mean,
Fox.
yeah, it's cats flying spaceships and talking to each other. And it's even got a very simple art style that makes you think of Star Fox. But yeah, you go from zone to zone, kind of plotting through that. I was kind of surprised. More of the areas that I was getting, at least when I played it, are free range, where basically you just have a time limit before tons of enemies start to spawn, and you just have to find the exit. But you can also, if you're good, like fly around and get more power ups and things that way. But I mean, yeah, it was fun.
This looks fun.
Yeah, it's just one of those examples of like when a franchise that still has a fan base doesn't make new games, then some indie developer will just make their own, and it honestly turns out pretty well a lot of the time. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that with stuff like Wargroove, and hey, Advance Wars is coming back now, so maybe Nintendo will pay attention if this does well.
Well,
and
especially
it is coming to Switch
listen,
too.
Especially something like Star Fox. It's not a hard concept, guys. Like, come on.
It really isn't.
Jeez. I feel like they missed the opportunity to name this like Moon Weasel or something.
I like Whisker Squadron. It's not so on the nose.
It just reminds me of Rogue Squadron.
It is on the nose because it's whiskers.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
It's on the snout.
But
other than that, I was streaming again this week. So I had not streamed in a while on the channel on Twitch, RetroLogic Games. Check it out. You can see me streaming. I'm actually going to be starting Earthbound Beginnings later. But this week I was just breaking in the Turbografx Mini. So I played a bunch of games, kind of just jumped between a bunch of them. Cadash, Neutopia, Rondo of Blood, Military Madness, Lords of Thunder, Ninja Spirit, all kinds of good stuff. Really had a lot of fun. I actually went back to some of those later in the week. I really got hooked on Military Madness again. This is like the only Turbografx game I'd played before I got the Mini, because I had it on the Wii eShop. But I don't have access to that anymore because I transferred all those to my Wii U and sold my Wii U like a fool. But yeah, I mean, it's very Advance Wars, but
if you buy a Wii U, you can get them back.
Not for very long.
No, but he just bought a Turbografx Mini though. He's got it.
I know. Well, that's true.
I mean, really, like, you're not selling me on a Wii U now. That moment has passed. I still don't really regret it, because at the time I was not getting a Switch at launch unless I traded that in.
PSA for whoever's listening: if you owned a Wii U at one point and buy a new one, you can restore all of your digital purchases.
Yep.
Moving on.
It's true. Yeah, but I went back to that. Lords of Thunder was another big highlight. I played a couple other. There's a lot of shmups on there, but this one actually I had a lot of fun with, and it wasn't too insanely hard. So this has kind of like an RPG layer to it, I guess. So all the enemies drop gems, and you can spend them at a shop in between levels to upgrade your weapons and your health. Although all of that's kind of still temporary. Like your weapon power goes down when you take hits as well. But you're kind of trying to like keep the snowball going. But at the very least, it's not like a lot of shmups where you die in one hit. So that's nice. And it was just a tons of fun. Really crazy game. Definitely recommend checking that one out if you get a Turbografx Mini as well.
Rad. Awesome.
And as for buying stuff, since the 3DS eShop is closing, I figured I'd had my eye on these for a while and just put it off because I didn't know when I was going to play them. I'd been picking up all the Mega Man Game Boy games. Those are some of the ones I hadn't played. Wasn't really sure how worth it they are, because they're such a weird thing, because they're like the NES games, but they're actually not. But yeah, Mega Man Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Extreme 2 as well while I was at it. I actually played the first Extreme a while ago. Didn't care for it too much, but I've heard Extreme 2 is actually a lot better. So figured that was worth it too, while I can still get it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, at some point soon I have to dig into the Wii U and 3DS and download what I'm going to get, because, yeah. Oh, yes. John, what's up with you, man?
Well, thanks to Sam, I picked up a copy of Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter for the PS2.
I just make you buy stuff.
We did that. It's the RetroLogic effect.
I just buy stuff. Bad. That came in earlier this week. I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but it's here. I also picked up Horizon Forbidden West for the PS5. I also haven't played that. I'm still trying to finish up a few games before I move on. I was at Best Buy and they had Prinney's Presents Classics Volume 1, which is Phantom Brave and Soul Nomad for the originally on the PS2 RPGs. They had this for like $20, so I went ahead and picked it up. I think I have Phantom Brave on the PS2 already, but I don't have Soul Nomad, and I'm sure that these games probably play a lot better on the Switch. It's probably been touched up at least a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I bought the whole eShop. No, I felt like I bought the eShop. Like, I've talked about it before, but you had to buy these games like one at a time. So I had like a whole list of things I wanted to pick up. So it's like one, put it in your cart, buy it. Put it in your cart, buy it. So
crazy.
I can't even remember what all I bought, but I probably bought 10 or 15 games on there. And the only one I played was I replayed Box Boy. That's the only thing I've played. I just sat down and played through a bunch of it.
Love Box Boy.
Or at least that's the only thing I played out of the 3DS eShop games that I picked up. I'm still trying to play through Pokemon Legends. I think I'm like most of the way done. And then I'll just have Ghost of Tsushima to finish up, which I still think I'm like over 3/4 of the way through that. Once I put forks in those, then I'll fire up one of these other games that I've been waiting to play.
That's amazing that you can swap between 2 AAA games at a time. I'm unable to do that. My fingers can't handle it. The muscle memory.
And 2 different consoles.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, where is the B button? Yeah.
It happens.
Awesome. Thank you, John. For me this week, my only pickup was my second time buying Ring Fit Adventure. I bought it when it was new and then saw that it was going for like $150 on eBay. So I was like, okay, I'd rather have an extra $80 than this. So I sold it. And recently my wife's been getting up early to work out and I'm like, okay. All right. I'm inspired. I need to do something. But if I'm going to do something, it's going to be on my terms. So I'm going to be playing video games while I do it. So hopefully it's fun. I don't know. I've heard people like it. So, maybe it's fun. I fired
Did you not
up.
play it when you had it originally?
No. Oh, you know what? I think I played it for like a little bit. I have a vague memory of that time because I had a newborn. So life was vague. I fired up Donkey Kong 64 the other night because I actually had a night to myself, which is a rare occurrence outside of podcasting nights. And just to kind of prove to myself that it's still amazing and people on the internet don't know what they're talking about. And they're still right. It's incredible. It's a great 3D platformer. It's as good as any other rare 3D platformer. And I'll never understand why people don't like it. I beat the first boss. I got Diddy Kong. I'm at a loss. Swinging from vines feels amazing. You get guns that shoot coconuts. I don't know. The music is incredible. It's the best looking N64 game. I don't know.
They just don't like the DK rap. Almost had a Freudian slip there.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that another time, can't we? Freudian slip. Anywho, also kind of got to a place in Pokemon Legends where I'm done with that game. I didn't even really get that far. I beat the second boss and I just can't I can't with modern Pokemon anymore. I don't want to like rain on anyone's parade because people love Pokemon still. And I just feel like it hasn't been for me since Sun and Moon. And I don't really know why or how to put my finger on it. Mostly it's just that like I have such a deep love for what Pokemon was in 1998. And I think that it just, I'm a different, I don't know, man. I can't. It just doesn't anymore.
So you're not buying the new ones?
No, probably not. That's the thing. Like I say that, but I bought Legends. You know, I didn't touch Diamond and Pearl. It didn't appear to be worth $60 to me. So I was like, no, I'll wait. Maybe I'll buy it when they're like 40 or 30 used or something.
I wait a whole I wait a whole generation in between.
Yeah.
And I don't touch the remakes. I don't touch the spin-offs.
But not only that, but like,
see you in Gen 10.
I just was so unimpressed with the starters, the new starters, and I'm like, you don't
like the grass cat?
No,
the grass cat is lame. I actually like the other two. That's just a green cat. Like
the duck is
fire crocodile thing?
Yeah, the grass cat was lame. I like the duck.
The duck is a duck with a
Donald
hat.
Duck.
Duck with a hat.
It's a Donald Duck Pokemon.
But they're just they don't look real. Is that a thing to say? Like they don't.
The other problem is that there's so many other duck Pokemon already. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
Here's a dumb gripe. Here's a dumb gripe that I have. Why is every generation the same 3 types? Why is it always
That's
grass,
what I was
fire,
just
water?
going to say. Why can't we get some different types?
Do you know how many? Do you know how many other triads of types would work in that scenario, and they just don't? Totally could, just don't. Don't know why. It's like the stuff that they keep the same should change, and the stuff that they change.
I mean, anymore, does it even have to be a triangle of types? Like, just give us some different types.
Well, it does, because it does. It
only matters for the first 5 minutes of the game. You do the first battle, and then you don't care.
No, because your rival always has the upper hand or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but you don't care afterwards because you have another Pokemon to counter him anyway.
I know, but you need, like, here's the thing. And now I'm going to defend the series. They have to cater to people playing it for the first time because it's designed for kids. It's not designed for adults. And I think that's exactly why it's not for me anymore. I can't go into Pokemon thinking that they're going to make it for me like they did in 1998 and I was 11. They're not going to do that anymore. I'm not that person. They're still making games for 11-year-olds. So I need to get to a place where I'm okay saying this is great for an 11-year-old and not for me. And that's very difficult to do for some reason. So I'm going to end that conversation there. Anyway, Pokemon Legends was fine. I'm glad they're doing something different. I got annoyed and I stopped playing, and I'm probably never going to pick it up again. So now that I have successfully killed the conversation, let's play some Price is Retro. If this is your first time playing Price is Retro, this is how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everyone is going to guess how much the games are worth in total. Each of us has a list for everyone else to guess, and whoever wins the most lots at the end of us playing wins the episode. Look out for the Poltergeist. He always guesses 300, and if he wins, I have to give away a sticker. It's just how it goes from the merch store, which you can find at retrologic.games/merch. You can buy one instead of waiting for the Poltergeist to win. Anywho, John, why don't you go first this time?
Alrighty. First game on my list is X-Men Mutant Apocalypse for the Super Nintendo, complete in box.
Is that
the second game? It's a fighting game,
bro.
Mutant Apocalypse. Not exactly.
No. Yeah, it is more like a beat 'em up.
It's like a beat 'em up platformer. It's actually really cool.
It's kind of.
I recommend it.
Yeah.
It's
right. The second game is X-Men: Children of Atom for the PS1. This one is a straight up fighting game.
Okay.
And then the last game is X-Men vs. Street Fighter for the Sega Saturn, complete in box.
All 3 complete.
All 3 complete.
I didn't hear for Children of the Atom.
Okay. So John is going first, so I'm going to guess first. I'm going to guess 650.
Okay.
And then y'all two can go. Sam, why don't you go next?
I'm gonna guess 475.
Okay.
And then Moses, what's your guess?
I guessed 530.
All right.
Alrighty. The total of my game lot is $302.63.
That's the ghost.
For the ghost.
It's one for the ghost. Sam, you
these
almost
are
had that
all-
one.
These are all
I care about the Saturn
Capcom
one.
developed X-Men games.
Oh yeah, they are Capcom,
Yep.
huh?
I'd cut onto that.
Children of the Atom, I have never played.
It was kind of like their first, like, getting into the. It was a lead up to like the Versus games.
Yeah. It's why the first Marvel vs. Capcom was so X-Men heavy in its roster. That and
Mhm.
X-Men was just the big thing then. But
Yeah.
they also were pretty much just carrying characters over from Children of the
Yeah,
Atom.
Children of the Atom.
From
and
Children of the
then-
Atom to X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Street
to then
Fighter,
they're
yeah.
like, let's just do Marvel versus Capcom.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Moses, do you want to give it a try? You want to go next?
Sure. So I got a couple games here. First one is Earthbound, complete in box, the Super Nintendo.
Dang it. What is that going for now?
I'm honestly
well,
not
that's
sure.
the question.
It always fluctuates. Go ahead.
Next one is Little Samson, complete in box.
Bro.
For the NES.
Complete in box.
We're gonna go big numbers here.
Yeah, man. Jeesh.
Next one is Panzer Dragoon Saga, complete in box for Sega Saturn. Fourth one is Nintendo World Championship Gray Kart Loose, NES. And the last one's Ring Fit Adventure, complete in box. Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Okay, we get all of them. There was a bunch there.
Yes, that was 5 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do some math here. John, you're going to guess
I'll just
first.
go first.
Oh,
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah.
4,200.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm going to go 5.
Okay. Well, despite what I'm hearing, I'm just going to stick to my guns and say $8,000.
All right.
What's that? What's that total?
Is
Yeah.
53,442.
Well, I guess I won.
Yeah.
I guess so.
50. You're only off by a couple tens of thousands.
It's fine. It's fine.
53,000 what?
I'm not sure I even know Earthbound, so
It was 53,442.
I'm sure it's that stadium
Okay.
events.
If I did my math right.
Do you have the individual prices?
all right, what's the breakdown?
Yeah, Earthbound big box, complete in box looked like 2,289.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's higher
Little
than I
Samson complete in box 4,750. Dude, I saw an Earthbound going for 5 digits the other day. I can't believe it. Panzer Dragoon Saga 1,164.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo World Championship Gray Kart $45,000, $194. And Ring Fit Adventure $45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. I think Dan won that one, even though he was still $45,000 off.
That's some
There's a lot
kind
of
of.
competition for that best or worst best guess.
I know, man.
Award.
Flightsy's gonna have a field day with that one. That's something. All right, Sam, you go. Your turn.
All right, I did the we need a name for this. That thing where I just make the first word of the next title the last word of the previous title. That's my theme here. So
Yep.
let me make sure these might not be in the right order.
Call it a word worm.
Okay. Start with Alter Echo for the PlayStation 2.
Called a word
Complete
centipede.
in box.
Sorry.
Echo Knight for the PlayStation. Complete. Night Trap for the Sega 32X, loose, and Trap Gunner for the PlayStation, complete.
Hold on. Night Trap for the 32X?
Yes.
Is that North America?
It's on price charting.
Did you look it up?
Yeah, because I thought that was Sega CD, wasn't it?
It just says 32X. I can go with the Sega CD version.
No, 32X is fine.
I mean, if it
We don't know
if it
anyway.
exists, it exists.
Price charting just says 32X. So
Does it say Sega CD as well?
It looks like it exists.
I'm baffled. I am.
yeah, they list them separately.
I'm utter
Sega
disbelief.
CD or
Okay, all
32X.
right. Night Trap for 32X. Was that loose?
Yeah, that one was loose. The rest are all complete in box.
And then what was that last game?
Trap Gunner for the PlayStation.
No idea what that is. Okay, so
Gosh.
it is Moses, it's your turn to guess first.
All right, I'm gonna undercut the ghost and say $299.
Nice. Get that ghost out of here.
$299.
$299. I'm gonna follow suit with you because we can't let the ghost win. I'm gonna say 301.
Oh,
So one of us and then John, what's your guess?
I'm going to go 400.
Oh,
Total is $336
yes.
and 53 cents. So
That's-
Dan takes it just ahead of the ghost.
Whew. It really could have been either of us, Moses. I'm glad it was me, but it could have been either of us.
So Alter Echo is $10.19.
Mhm.
Echo Knight is $199.99. Night Trap is $49.80, and Trap Gunner is $76.55.
I am now going to look up Night Trap on 32X, and dang, there it is. It exists. It's a real thing. Didn't know. Now you know, everybody. Let me get back to my notes here. You know what? I see a copy of Alter Echo for the Xbox hanging out at my local for $10 all the time, and I'm like, this looks interesting. Maybe I'll pick it up, and I never do. Maybe I should. It's gonna be the next Mischief Makers or something, where it just shoots up randomly one day. Okay, it is my turn. My theme is celebrating the 24th anniversary of Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64, which came out on March 1st, 1998. So here we go. Yoshi Wii Remote for the Wii, complete in box. That's an accessory, in case you were curious. Yoshi's Woolly World Blue Yarn Yoshi Bundle for the Wii U, complete in box. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, not for resale, for the Super Nintendo, loose. And Yoshi's Story for the N64, complete in box. That's all she wrote. And John is going to guess. Well.
Yeah, I'll guess. I think
okay.
it's my turn.
All right.
I'm going to say 325.
Okay. That's Sam or Moses, whoever wants to go next.
I got 270.
Okay.
Shoot, I'm bad at this. $600.
All right. Actual retail price is $408.61, and I believe that's John.
Yep.
By a little bit. Moses, you were just shy of too high. Yoshi Wii Remote, complete in
Just
box, is $47. Yoshi Woolly World Blue Yarn Yoshi Bundle, which is the most expensive of those bundles, is $53.73. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, not for resale, is $181.37. And Yoshi's Story for the N64 complete in box is $126.51. I also have a bonus round. If you guys want to do a bonus round, this will not count towards points. Let me actually write that point in for John. But it's just for funsies. There is a Yoshi's Story International version. That's what we've called it. It is the name is given to it. It is the. Whoa, what did I write here? I can't even read my own typing. Yoshi's Story International version is the name of the game given to the rare kiosk demo of the N64 game. The label of the cartridge is different from all other versions of the game, using the same artwork used on the front box of the Japanese version. The game only runs in Japanese consoles. The game only runs in American consoles, but it is otherwise identical to the Japanese version of the game. These exist, and I want to see what you guys think this thing is worth. It only comes cartridge only because it was a kiosk demo. So what's your best guess on Yoshi's Story International version? Anybody?
Whatever I guess is going to be too low because I undervalue this stuff.
Well then, Sam, you got to bet higher. You got to know you got to overcompensate for yourself.
$1,000.
Okay.
I think I'm going to say 5,000.
Okay. Moses, what do you think?
$301.
Okay. Can't let that ghost win. Can't let him win. Actual retail price is $1,775.
Yeah.
So I won the bonus round.
Makes Sam the winner. But yeah, I never even heard of this. But
I can win when
I
it doesn't
never read
count.
it either.
I've seen pictures of it, and it looks weird. Like just the art is all different. Not for resale is gigantic on the front, so it like blocks most of the art. Very interesting.
I thought it was funny because I have that Wiimote complete in box. Brand new still.
You've got $47, my friend. We also have a guest list. Our good buddy Flightsy, who also curates the Prices Retro database, gave us a list. And per usual, he wants us to guess what the games are going to be based on his theme. And the theme is showing up Dan's box list from last week. Showing up my box list. So he did better than boxes. Which is it everything that I did but better, or is it like games with the word?
It's Pokemon box again. I still can't wrap my head around how that's apparently worth so much.
Maybe it's games with the word crate or dolly
or barrel
or other shipping containers.
Maybe they're all just boxing games.
Barge or UPS truck.
Well, Dan had a boxing.
I did. I had a boxing game. Yeah.
And it was the most expensive.
Let's see what Flightsy's got for us this week. He says Box Boy Japanese 3DS complete in box. Actually, I might need to drag my notes over here so that I can write notes and guess at the same time.
Is that with Amiibo?
Bro, your guess is as good as mine.
Because I think, is it QB?
Yeah, his Amiibo's very expensive, but I don't know if this is the... I would imagine since he's one-upping me, these are going to be pretty expensive, but that's going off of nothing right now. Oh, wait. Okay. This is box-only games. This is no
gosh.
No manuals.
Just the box. Okay.
No games. Just boxes.
Just the box.
Okay, so Box Boy, Japanese 3DS, box only. That significantly changes my price. Orange box for the 3D for the Xbox 360, box only. Pokemon box for the GameCube, box only. Eesh. It's probably almost as much as the game freaking.
It's just the case, or I guess that did.
I know, man, but if you have just the disc and you're a collector, like you'll pay anything for the box.
True.
That's all of it. That's it. Just those 3 games. I'm going to go 610.
Okay.
That's my guess. What do you got, John?
I'm going to 550.
Moses, what do you got?
I'm not going low on Pokemon Box again. 900.
900 for Sam. Moses, what do you got?
I'm going to do an even 500.
5. Okay. Actual retail price. $1,150.54, which is Sam.
I was still low.
Bro. Okay. Pokemon box only, $1,000.59.
Good night.
What?
I've learned my lesson.
Isn't that game
Pokemon
$1,200?
Ugh.
Why?
Yeah.
You know,
The box
Pokemon
is
Bank
worth
is
that.
going to be free now, right?
Well, you can't even use Pokemon Box. It doesn't work anymore.
Yes, it
That's
does.
been shut down like a long time ago. I thought it had to have the internet to transfer.
No. It's just for transferring. I thought it was just for transferring Pokemon from your old games. I don't actually know.
Though? There's no way to.
I have no idea. That's what it stores your Pokemon
the GameCube
on your
GBA
memory
link
card.
cable.
Yeah, it stores your Pokemon on the memory card. To my knowledge, that's what you do.
Wow. I thought it had online capability.
Orange box 687 box boy box 14308 blah blah blah. Congratulations
Orange box.
to Sam for the win. Where's my list here? Okay. Well, everybody except for Moses got a point. Sorry Moses. Better luck next time.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah. The theme unluck. Theme explanation from Flightsy. See, my list was superior because I actually used box only conditions on price charting. Ha! Oh, and fun fact, Box Boy is usually an eShop exclusive series. While get it while you can, but apparently in Japan they released the trilogy physically with an amiibo of the main character, and the amiibo goes for like millions of dollars or something. Awesome. Thank you, Flightsy. Always a pleasure. I win. So, I don't know. Nanny boo boo. Better luck next time. John, you need to come back, bro. I need you to step it up.
I won last week.
That's true. True that. We are also going to play a game called Games Described Badly. Sam, you have one for us this week. Is that true?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so-
actually have 5.
So how we play this is we're going to listen to a very poor description of a video game, Moses. And we're just, as a group, we're going to try to guess what the hell this game is. It's really fun. And we have 3 lists of games. So, Sam, why don't you do yours first?
Sure. Do you want me to give you the whole list and then tell you what they are?
We'll do one at a time.
Okay, one at a time. All right, number 1. A boy and his Tamagotchi stop a cranky old man from breaking the internet.
A boy and his blob.
A boy, that's not a Tamagotchi.
It is not a boy and his blob.
A boy and his Tamagotchi stop a cranky old man.
Is it Mega Man Battle Network?
I was just going to say that. It's got to be Mega Man Battle Network. Also, it's Sam, so.
It is Mega Man Battle Network.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I did something.
You got it. You're good at this game, Moses. We should just play
right.
this.
Number 2. Angel of Death harvests hearts from the denizens of hell to use them as money.
Bro, like any RPG? I don't know. Hades? I don't know, man. Anybody have any guesses?
Diablo?
Say it again, Sam.
Angel of Death harvests hearts from the denizens of hell to use them as money.
I'm going to say Hades.
Is it Spiritual Warfare from Wisdom Tree?
It's a good one.
It would be a
You
wisdom
actually
tree.
might be a little bit closer there.
Oh, man.
So since I'm doing it, I can actually give hints if it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's an NES game.
NES game.
Okay.
What's the
Castlevania?
What game has
wait? What's that devil?
that's
2?
What's the devil game developed
Castlevania
by?
2.
Hold on.
that would be Devil World.
Devil World.
Devil World?
Was that NES?
That's Famicom.
Okay. Well,
I would say Castlevania, but that's not. You know,
is it
hearts
Kid?
aren't money in
is it
Castlevania.
Kid-
It's items.
Maybe it's Kid Icarus.
Weren't hearts money in Castlevania 2? Simon's Quest?
Let's just get the answer. I don't know, Sam.
I just played
It
that.
is Kid Icarus. You weren't very
What?
confident. It's Kid Icarus. Yeah, hearts are currency in Kid Icarus.
Angel of Death.
You start in the underworld, and you're an angel,
Oh, okay.
and you kill things.
Yeah, I knew that hearts were money, and okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. How many?
All right,
How many
number
do you
3.
have? How many do you have? 5. Okay.
Number 3. It's not Pokemon, but it is literally dinosaurs.
Fossil something.
Digimon.
Fossil Fighters.
Fossils.
Is it Fossil
Yep,
Fighters?
Fossil Fighters.
Yes.
That one's a bit on the nose, but I
Teamwork.
had to get that in there. I figure it's a little bit more obscure of a game. So
It is. It
I don't
is.
wanna do hard.
I first thought Digimon because of the character, but
I was thinking Primal Rage at first, but
oh yeah.
Number 4. Terrified infant witnesses the horrors of nature after being abandoned on a remote island and raised by dinosaurs.
oh, Yoshi's World
Bonk.
or
Yoshi's Island?
Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Is it Bonk or Yoshi's Island?
It's Yoshi's Island.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
Was
And I
Bonk
guess
raised by dinosaurs? I don't know. He's a
is
kid.
Bonk
man.
is Bonk a baby?
As Bonka Baby
He's
or
a
is he
child.
just a caveman?
He's pretty chibi. I mean,
And I don't know.
baby's got some big heads.
He seems mature for his age, I
Yeah.
guess.
Toddler.
All right, number 5, last one. World War II, the anime, the game.
World War II.
What
The
Valkyria Chronicles.
I was just gonna say that Valkyria Chronicles.
Yep,
Any of them?
Valkyria
Yeah,
Chronicles.
it's got to be the anime.
That's my jam right there.
Awesome. Those were great. Those were good. Thank you for the clue about the NES game, because otherwise we would have landed on Diablo. Okay, our next Games Described Badly is from our buddy the Ambassador. Likes to give us. He's been giving us these weekly, and I gotta say, I'm a fan. Let's see here. So he gave us
For the nuns.
He gave us 2 lists, but I'm only going to do one tonight, and I'll do another one next week. So here we go. Game number 1. A rich heiress does gymnastics in her house and locks her butler in the freezer. A rich heiress does gymnastics in her
Is
house
this Tomb Raider? I don't know anything about Tomb Raider.
and locks her butler in the freezer. Could be Tomb Raider.
I don't know. I don't know Butler in the freezer, but
That one I'm not 100% on.
Lara
No.
Croft is rich,
It's not
right?
Clue, is it?
She's
Yeah.
a treasure hunter.
She's rich. It's got to be Tomb Raider, right? She does gymnastics and stuff. Game number 2. A martial artist cop with anime thighs kicks a sumo wrestler in the face repeatedly
Street Fighter.
while I'm not done yet. While a
I know, but that's it.
psychotic communist watches. It's got to be Street Fighter, right?
Specifically calling out the box art, I think.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a pretty good description. All right, here's another one. A girl goes to the mall with a katana. Everything seems quiet on this rising slope. A girl goes to the mall with a katana. Everything seems very quiet on this rising slope.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
They kind of gave it away in the end, I guess.
Quiet rising slope.
Yeah, but does a girl go to a
That's what
mall
it
with
is.
a katana?
I don't even know if there's a girl with a katana in any Silent Hill, but
Gotta be.
All right, game 4.
Unless he's looking for a specific one.
Game 4. Turn off the lights. It's now dark. The dark is flawless. Sam, you got this one. That's what he says.
Perfect dark.
Perfect dark. Yeah.
Game 5. When you go to the store for some dawn, but there is 0 dawn, so you go west.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Come on, dude. Last one. Your maternal parent does this for you in the food preparation room.
Cooking mama.
Cooking mama. Gotta be. All right, here we go. Game 1 is Tomb Raider. Got it. Game 2 was Street Fighter 2. Game 3 was Silent Hill 3 specifically. 4 is Perfect Dark. He says, I knew you could do it, Sam. 5 is Horizon Zero Dawn. 6 is Cooking Mama. We got him. We got these, you guys. We have another one from my brother, from Adam. Here we go. Game description number 1. It's the world's most famous and recognizable member of the... holy crap. I can't even say this word. Eulipotifia order of mammals, and a character who shares a name with both a Marvel superhero and a Monty Python antagonist. The world's most famous and recognizable member of the Eulipotifila order of mammals. Okay, I don't know what that is. And a character who shares
be
the same
a rabbit.
name.
It's gotta be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Tails.
Oh.
Marvel superhero and Monty Python antagonist. Flash. That's not Marvel. I'm an idiot. Let's just rattle off some Marvel superheroes.
Is it Sonic and the Black Knight? That's a Marvel character. And
Yep.
Bro.
Yeah.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get the answer here. We're going to do answers right after we read them. Sonic and the Black Knight. Okay.
It's kind of an obscure Marvel character, but I'll give it to him.
I didn't know that was a Marvel character. So.
Yeah, but I mean,
I said the Flash. What the hell do I know?
Sort of, kind of in Hawkeye, but not really.
Anywho, game 2. A kid dressed as a barnyard animal who shares his full name with a former professional baseball player sets out to murder a crow, helped along the way by ovular enhancements.
Billy Hatcher and the giant egg.
Yep. Billy Hatcher and the giant egg. Sam is too good at this. All right. Game 3. The player finds him or herself to be the caretaker of a disturbing evolutionary amalgam who also happens to be quite rude. That's it. That's the game. The player finds him or herself to be the caretaker of a disturbing evolutionary amalgam who also happens to be quite rude. That's it. That's the game. That's what he wrote. Caretaker of an evolutionary amalgam. A rude evolutionary amalgam.
Sonic the Hedgehog again.
Oh, is it Seaman?
Oh, yeah.
It could be, Seaman.
I think it's Seaman.
Rude? Is he rude, though? Did you say Sonic the Hedgehog?
Again?
Yeah. Seaman as like a double entendre could potentially be rude.
Ah, yes.
Maybe it's that.
Maybe. Let's see. It is Seaman, indeed. Okay, hard mode. You ready for this is the last one, and then we're all done with this game. and then if John has a trivia card for us, that'll be it for our games this section. Hard mode. Here we go. In the future, robots are sent back to Earth to clean up trash and pollution after the human population has moved on to attempt to colonize other worlds. Our little character is one of these cleanup robots who arrives only to discover he's the only one still functioning properly, and no, it's not Wally.
I was about to say Wally, but okay.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there was a Wally game. Chibi Robo? No.
Okay, I know my brother. And I don't know if this is the plot or not, because I don't remember, but it might be Metal Arms glitch in the system. Robots.
If it is, I won't know.
Does anybody else know that game? Metal Arms.
I have
I'm
it,
only
but I don't
vaguely
know it.
familiar. I've never played it.
Oh man, it's probably my favorite third-person shooter of the GameCube generation. And Adam definitely knows what that game is. So that's my guess. Let's see it. Nope, it's Vector Man.
Vector Man.
Who knows the lore of Vector Man? Apparently.
Yeah.
Did you have Vector Man before you sold your Sega Genesis games, Moses?
No.
No Vector
I'm
Man.
not a huge Vector Man fan either. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's a good little run and gun. Final statement. I hope y'all enjoyed this special Sega edition of games described badly. I was going to apologize for being intentionally obtuse in my description, but I feel like that's kind of the point. Yeah, we got 3 out of 4 anyway, thanks to Sam. So that's it for games
I couldn't help
described
you with
badly.
Vector Man, though.
No, and you know what? If I knew anything about the lore of that game,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I have 1 and 2, but I don't know anything about what's going on. I just
like
shoot
them.
stuff.
But I don't have a Blankopedia, but I'm changing the name of Blankopedia. Did you guys know this? I'm changing the name to Retropedia because I feel like it fits our motif better. Blankopedia doesn't mean anything. John, do you have a trivia card for us before we wrap up and go to our show topic?
I do. Let's see what we got.
See how good it is.
In which video game series would you find Rainbow Road, Coconut Mall, and Moo Moo Meadows?
Mario Kart 64.
Yep. Oh gosh. Sub-Zero and Raiden are characters from which arcade-style fighting game?
Street Fighter.
Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter. Oh,
That's that Darkstalkers game, right?
Yeah, these are...
Yeah.
Some of these are super easy, and then some of them you'll never guess.
I love it. I love those. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do our show topic, which is Breath of Fire with our very special guest, Moses, who loves these games. We're going to find out why. So go get a drink or a sandwich or just keep driving or do whatever you're doing. But make sure you don't go far because we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. We are talking Breath of Fire. Hopefully you played it with us. If you didn't, I mean, you could still play it if you want to. I'm not going to stop you, but it might be less fun because now we're all kind of done with it for now. But we have with us this week an aficionado of sorts, Moses, maybe, who is a fan. I know, at least a fan of these games. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go around the horn and kind of talk about, how we were introduced to the series, our first time playing it, our impressions, kind of lead into, maybe some history, whatever's off the top of our heads. And then I have some little trivia factoids that I can throw at you guys too. So we'll have a fun little convo here for our show topic. So we could start with you, Moses, since you're probably, of the three of us, the most bathed in the Breath of Fire. How did you get into the series? Like, did you play it as a kid? And what drew you into it? Or like, what makes you a fan of the series in particular?
yeah. So growing up, this was a big series for me, next to Final Fantasy. Played a lot of this as a kid. First encountered it at a friend's house, and we were just into RPGs in general. So it seemed like, here's just another one of those. It's got dragons, it's got swords, it's got magic, all the good stuff. Learning to develop my vocabulary and learning to read more better playing these games was interesting, because then I came to discover that it's not just real basic fantasy elements, but there's actually a lot of really interesting and I think dark subtext to this series. It's a series that's important to me in that it got me interested in a degree that I pursued in theology and comparative religion, specifically Breath of Fire 2, which has some fairly heavy-handed religious themes, and came to find out eventually that that's not too uncommon for JRPGs, but it was certainly the first time that I'd encountered it or that it had impacted me to that extent. But I really love this series. I think it's very short-lived. I've played 1 through 4. I own Dragon Quarter as well, but haven't really had the courage to fire that up yet after knowing about its general reception. And then there is a Breath of Fire 6. It's Japanese mobile only, and apparently it's discontinued, or its service is discontinued or something like that. Sadly, so you can't even play it anyway, which is just tragic to me. I mean, you can play the first Breath of Fire anytime. You can pop in the carts, you can play any one of the re-releases, but you cannot play Breath of Fire 6 even if you wanted to. So this is one that I'm begging. Capcom is having its renaissance. Please, Capcom, release a new Breath of Fire game, Breath of Fire 7. That would be super neat. If not that, a Breath of Fire collection for modern systems, I think would be really cool.
At least something with 3 and 4.
Yes.
Because when I was first researching, what are the games in the series? What are they on? How do you play them? Is there a modern way to play them? It's basically PSP or Vita. You can buy the game on your PS3, but you cannot play it on your PS3. You can only transfer it from your PS3 to your Vita. That's it. So which is still
hold up. Is that accurate?
Yes.
That you can't play them on the PS3?
You cannot play, not anymore. You used to be able to, and then
I think you have to transfer them to. You can do the transfer them to the PSP or the Vita.
Yeah, it's very weird. And actually, there wasn't any straightforward answers for me online. I had to go into the PS3 like online store and find it, and I almost bought it because I was like, oh, here it is. But then like, the little text is like playable on Vita or PSP only. And I was like, well, why would you let me buy it?
Oh, wow.
What do you...
Which is super, yeah.
It's so weird. So it's not accessible at all. And then 4 is just nowhere. So it at least do something with 3 and 4. Throw the quadrilogy on a disc and let us play it. Mm-hmm. Would be nice. And actually, one of my pieces of trivia is that there was a company that approached Capcom to do a sequel, and it's not who you'd think it was. Does anybody have any guesses?
No.
Nada.
Yeah.
Camelot.
Soft.
Camelot, makers of Mario Golf, expressed interest to Capcom.
Oh, yeah, but they also make Golden Sun.
I think we're Golden Sun as what they'd put on their resume for let us fire.
And I also think it's kind of funny that Moses is talking about the how much he enjoyed the second game's story and and broadening his vocabulary, and that game is known for having a very bad localization.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like
It's
the one you
awful.
don't. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you go back and play it now, and you're like, I don't think Capcom really knew English that well.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
The first
it
one-
came at a time.
There's a reason they let Square handle it for the first game.
Yep.
Yeah, and the first one, playing that one first, I feel like the first one's really flat, despite having the better translation. And then 2, I don't know how it conveyed its ideas with such a lousy translation, but somehow it managed to get them across to me.
It definitely playing the two, side by side. The second one is definitely a lot more out there with its story. Even like just the opening.
Mm.
The opening is definitely a lot more different.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say this Breath of this February is my first time delving into any of these games in any real way, and I chose to play the first one. And I was warned a little bit about just how, especially playing it today, how kind of, for lack of a better term, vanilla RPG it is. It's very, I don't want to say bland, because it's still interesting, but I did kind of feel like I was playing something just very, I guess vanilla is the best word for it. Not very like,
it's a baby step for Capcom. Like, this is their first real
and
RPG.
It kind of felt that way. Like, they did some really interesting things with characters. Like, for part of it, you're playing as a totally different set of characters, and then like you all come together later, which was interesting. But the dungeons are all just not interesting. They're all kind of the same. And then like all of the enemies are kind of a lot of them I found to be a little bit like Final Fantasy light, like taking direct inspiration. So
Final Fantasy is already 5 games into their series by the time this one comes out. They've already developed how they want to make their RPGs.
Yeah.
And Capcom had no idea.
And I think that's probably especially the first game in particular's biggest problem is that, you have some pretty stiff competition when it comes to Super Nintendo RPGs.
Yep.
I think it's a good game, but it's competing with some of the all-time greats.
Yeah, and even in 1993, you had already had.
You put this up against, Final Fantasy IV. You put this up later against stuff like Chrono Trigger, and it's just, why would you play this instead?
Yeah,
unless you've already played them.
Yeah,
or one of the other reasons now, which I found interesting, is the Nintendo Switch Online lineup. If that's your introduction to the Super Nintendo, up until Earthbound came just a week ago, this was your RPG that was there. And honestly, like that's, I put that post up on the blog about don't overlook these games, and Breath of Fire was one of them. I'm like, hey, there are better RPGs on the Super Nintendo, but if you haven't played this one, it's worth it.
So it does a lot of things right, and it keeps it's really good for this is an RPG that if my son was wanting to start on a Super Nintendo, I would hand him, because it's definitely something that's more digestible. The systems are a little simpler. It's what it's made to be. It wasn't made to be complicated.
I always liked the presentation of the battle screen in these games. Just that angle, like you kind of get in between top down and over the shoulder view of your party members. I always thought that looked really cool. And so it's, the attack animations are quick and snappy, but they look good. For the first game, I found it difficult sometimes to know which character I was telling what to do. Like, there's no real highlight on them. It's just kind of puts their name at the bottom. Shift forward. And it even puts like an abbreviated version of their name on the bottom. So it doesn't even shift forward. At least in the first game, that as far as I've seen, it just puts their name on the bottom. Like, they don't move at all on screen. So one of the questions that I had for you guys and for Moses mostly is learning now how vastly different the second game's story, even like theme wise and the way it's presented. Do you think that they took into account
they kind of saw the RPG landscape of the Super Nintendo, and they said to themselves, like, well, we have to step it up. And so they took things into a crazy direction. What do you think provoked them to go less vanilla and more chocolate?
Ooh. Well, that is an interesting question, I think. Comparing this game, Breath of Fire 1 to Final Fantasy 4 is, I think, the way to go. That's a fairly fair comparison. But then it makes you really miss the innovation of the ATB system. And you're like, what does Breath of Fire 1 innovate? The second wind system? Thank God that didn't catch on.
Yeah.
You kill a boss and then they're like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to hang out at 0 HP for like 17 more turns.
I hated that.
Yeah. I would, every time I play Breath of Fire 1, I'm like, can you not? But Breath of Fire 2,
just die.
Though, yeah. I mean, Breath of Fire 2 seems like an appropriate sequel that plays off of the ideas of the first game, but just world builds better. It feels like it's a more inhabited world by more realistic cultures, even though it's just fantasy, but it feels like it has something that I appreciate about the Breath of Fire series, which is a depth of history that you simply don't get with the Final Fantasy series, by nature of Final Fantasy games being mostly one-off stories rather. The Breath of Fire series, at least 1 through 4, connect in some nebulous sense. Definitely 1 through 3 being a straight chronological progression.
Ancestors of the characters.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong,
exactly.
but Blue Dees, however you whatever translation you, she is the same character in the first 3, right?
Yes.
He's like immortal,
and also in the 4th as well. Yeah. So you get that one character that pervades through all 4 games. I'm not sure if she's in 5 or not.
She is not. She was planned, evidently. I did some searching, wiki level knowledge searching of 4. She was planned to be in at one point, and then they just cut her from the end product.
Boo on that.
Yeah, kind of
she
sad.
should be in all of them, I think. Yeah. But I think that depth of history is something that's really interesting about Breath of Fire, so they can say, in literally millennia past, and you've experienced that in previous games. I believe that Breath of Fire 1 even references ancient history before that game, so it'd be interesting to see them kind of visit that in a future game if they were to consider, if they were to continue this series or not.
Awesome. Yeah, I almost feel like I should have started with 2, but it was nice to get. I didn't beat it. I certainly got about 5 to 7 hours into the first game, which I feel like I got a pretty good taste of what the game is like. But it makes me very interested.
And
to play
you know
the second
what,
one
Dan?
now.
For sure. I mean, when people ask, they'll ask me, what game should I start with in Breath of Fire series? I always make sure to mention that history and that chronology. It's not important, but I mean, the title screen in Breath of Fire 3 opens with an image from the final battle in Breath of Fire 1. So there's definitely a chronology there. But I'll tell people, if you don't want to stomach a fairly traditional, slow-paced RPG with a fairly high random encounter rate, Breath of Fire 1, then read the wiki breakdown of the plot and play Breath of Fire 2. I think Breath of Fire 2 is the much more playable RPG of the first 2.
Cool. Awesome. So, John, what was your first encounter with the Breath of Fire series, and what are your overall thoughts of the series?
So the first time I played Breath of Fire was on GBA, and it definitely plays a little bit better on the Game Boy Advance than even the ports that are on the Switch, because they're pretty much directly, it's a 1-for-1 ROM from Super Nintendo and just some things. Movement speed's a little bit faster on the GBA. Like, I don't know, just some of the things that make it, quality of life improvements for the series kind of move with that game. But the thing that draws me to the series is very similar to what Moses has spoke. Like, just the continuity between the games. You're always going to have Ryu. You're always going to have a Nina. And just the connections that are made. And I like how they're not scared to change it up either. Like some of the things in the games are pretty different whenever you look at them. How the systems change, even just a little bit. I mean, Dragon Quarter is a totally different style of game, right. But it just shows you that they weren't scared to make changes to the series. And it's evident through all of the games. They all change somewhat. I would say that they learned that from Final Fantasy in itself. Mm-hmm. Like, it's more of like Final Fantasy and how it changes versus like Dragon Quest. How when you play Dragon Quest, you're gonna play you know exactly what you're getting when you go into those games. Mm-hmm. But it's just a good series that I wish they would continue as well.
It's interesting. One of the things that they cited, I was reading an article, and one of the things that they cited as Capcom being unwilling to continue the series, or at least calling the series dormant themselves, was that there are certain RPGs that sell in Japan. And if you're not one of those, you're kind of left with crumbs. If you're not Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or Tales, or Pokemon, then you're left with the crumbs. Like trying to get an audience for your RPG is or difficult.
If you don't have the pedigree.
Yeah. And I think that Capcom, with their recent renaissance, like you were saying earlier, Moses, I think that it would be an interesting time to try to bring that name back, because it's not an unknown series. It's very well known, especially among RPG fans.
Yeah.
And it even has a pretty good reception, but that was kind of where they landed back in like 2009 when they were asked about it. So it would be interesting to see. Sam, what about you? What was your first encounter with the series, and kind of your thoughts?
Also the Game Boy Advance. I think this was like just a random pickup. I think my brother got it for me.
The first one or the second one?
The first one. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize there was a second one for a long time. I wasn't like super aware of what games existed. I didn't know this was a Super Nintendo game. I'm just like, yeah, this is another game on the Game Boy Advance. It's kind of like these other games I play, like Golden Sun. And I enjoyed it a lot. It took me a very long time to beat it. I remember getting stuck several times. But I kind of plowed through it. I did not play the second one until just 2 years ago when it came to Switch through the NSO app. But since I remembered the first game, I made a point to play that, and I did find it very interesting. It didn't like blow me away in necessarily the same way as maybe it could have if I'd played it earlier. But yeah, and then 3 and 4, unfortunately, I remember looking, I was like, well, I played 2, there's 2 more games at least. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not spending that kind of money on the PlayStation disc. So that's why I played Dragon Quarter for this month, because it is affordable and also very interesting. And also, you might hate it, but that's okay. It tried something different.
Yeah,
it's always a risk.
Yeah, that's good.
But I actually enjoyed Dragon Quarter a lot. I did cool off on it toward the end a bit, just because its whole mechanics kind of undercut what should be a really exciting finale. That's just the way I played the game. I explained this a little bit before, but the way turning into a dragon works in this game is it raises a ratio. You have a D ratio that follows you through the whole game. And if it goes to 100%, you get a game over. And you can't actually roll it back either. So if you save and it's high, you basically screw yourself. And at that point, all you can really do is start a new game plus. Now, you can always start a new game plus from any point in the game, essentially. That's more or less how it works. But using your dragon form raises that percentage. Actually doing anything raises that percentage. It technically very, very slowly goes up throughout the game. Walking raises the percentage. Now, you're never going to hit 100. You would have to play the game like 600 hours to hit 100 without ever using dragon form. But then the game starts throwing really hard bosses at you because they want to push you to use dragon form. Like there's a lot of push and pull there, and I appreciate that. I think they were doing something really interesting with that. But it also means that like the game, based on how you play it, is going to have very weird difficulty spikes. Because I found the end of the game extraordinarily easy because I went into the last gauntlet of boss fights with a very low ratio, and I was just like, all right, dragon form, knock these bosses out in a single turn. And it worked. And I basically cruised through the end of the game, which I felt like I cheated myself out of what would have otherwise been challenging and interesting experience. But at the same time, I also just kind of wanted to finish the game so I could play something else.
Right. Moses 3 and 4, I think, is a blind spot for me and probably most people trying to play these games in the modern age. Can you speak to 3 and 4 with regard to kind of their progression and what they do differently than 1 and 2?
Sure. So to start off, 2 is my favorite, but I think 3 is the best in the series. It's got its act together. Didn't show up to work drunk. It knows what it wants to do. And it gets it done. It has that delightful 2.5D look that some PlayStation games at the time tried to pull off. Where they're like, hey, we're doing 3D, but also 16-bit sprites.
So it's like Grandia, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Xenogears, that sort of thing. So Breath of Fire 3 is just it's just really good. It's really playable. It has a surprisingly jazzy soundtrack. If you've never heard the soundtrack for Breath of Fire 3, check it out. It is not what you would expect from an RPG, a very swords and sorcery RPG.
I'll throw a track soundtrack into the podcast so people can get a sample.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There
you go. There's a little Kenny G in the background.
Very jazzy.
It's very jazzy. It's also got the start of an interesting system that is used again in Breath of Fire 4, the master system, I believe it was, where there are NPCs that can become your senseis and your senpai, and they will notice you and they will train you. And it kind of affects the way that your characters grow and the abilities that they learn over time. You can go back to other masters and learn other abilities and kind of accrue different abilities on different characters. So it's an interesting way to develop your characters that, at the time they were playing around with GFs in Final Fantasy VIII and Materia, just different ways to grow your characters. And so this was interesting because the NPCs tied to a specific location. So if you wanted to, move forward with your master, you have to return to them and actually speak with them, as far as I recall. Breath of Fire 3, in many ways, closes out the arc and plot ideas that are developed in Breath of Fire 1. Without spoiling, I don't want to mention, who's final boss and all that sort of thing. I mean, it's an old game, people, but still, if you're intending to play it, definitely play it. I think it has some very heavy moments. It also is that delightful balance of retro RPGs that could be silly and surreal in one moment and then extremely emotional and heavy in the other without being completely one or the other. And then Breath of Fire 4 is a bit of a wild card in that it doesn't seem to really fit in with the chronology. Like I mentioned, Dace is in there, or Blue, as it looks like her name is spelled. It appears, I mean, it's been a while since I played 4, but I think the idea was it's an alternate universe and there are organizations summoning the dragons from another universe into theirs. So they're referred to as the Endless, and they're kind of like deities. But a very interesting take on Breath of Fire's ideas in Breath of Fire 4. I was a little disappointed that it didn't kind of really progress the history of the Breath of Fire games, but it's interesting nonetheless. And I really think that those two are some of the best JRPGs that a very JRPG heavy system, the PlayStation 1, had to offer. So if you can, please do yourself a favor. It's a tragedy that you cannot play them on a PS3, evidently. I could have sworn I played them on a PS3.
Well, I think that they were available at one point.
At one point?
And taken down. Yeah, that's what I've been reading.
Does it 4 lose the jazz music also?
4 does.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's just 3.
The whole soundtrack is interesting to kind of like 1 and especially 2. You can tell they're kind of just like recycling the sound font from Mega Man X. Like I think Breath of Fire 2 literally is the Mega Man X2 sound font, which I'm okay with. It's very
rocky. Yeah. It's very dark. It's like dark.
And then you go from that to jazz. And I'd actually say the Dragon Quarter does a really good job with sound as well in a very different way. It's a lot more atmospheric. I did drop a track in our Discord that I shared. It's interesting just how they work so many just noises into the tracks. It's meant to have a very like industrial feel, so it fits the game well. But it doesn't pop the same way that those Super Nintendo guitar riffs do in 1 and 2.
Awesome.
I think 4 has an interesting sort of like ancient Japan kind of motif going on with its soundtrack. There's a lot of flutes. They're just, I mean, surprisingly, there's some pretty different soundtracks. But 2 is the one that I go back and listen to quite a lot. I gotta agree, it sounds like a Mega Man X game.
Awesome. Well, good. Why don't we throw some final thoughts at this series before we wrap up our topic section? I just want to say one thing that I noticed and really appreciated about Breath of Fire was there's a lot of like really interesting detail that they didn't have to put in, but they did put in. Like you'll see mice climbing and like really well animated tiny little mice climbing on the walls of your dungeons. You'll see like critters running around in towns. Your character,
even the little animation of the merchant. When you finish shopping at the merchant and he pulls out the little slide rule.
Yeah.
To
all that stuff. And even really just the NPCs in general are and the characters in general look really, really good. Like it's no slouch in the art department in any way. So I gotta give it props for that. I gotta give it props for keeping it, for being solid, and the random encounter rate is a bit high, but it's not unbearable. And most of the enemies, like I don't think I ever died to an enemy in the entire time that I played. So it seems very fair. I got close, but I was always kind of able to overcome. So that's what I'll say about my experience. Breath of Fire 1, definitely worth playing. Not a super long RPG that I understand it. So, did
you get to hunt in the overworld, Dan?
No, I didn't get that far.
Did you get to turn into a dragon?
No.
Have you really played Breath of Fire?
Dan,
and you didn't turn into a dragon.
Well,
I mean, the first game, you have to play like a third of the way through before you get
Guys,
that power.
I don't have any time in my
breaks
life.
the game. So.
All the time that I have in the world is I'm spending it with you right now. So I could go play more Breath of Fire right now, but here I am. That's why I'm.
If you saw Chun-Li's cameo,
no.
No.
It's
in there.
No, that's why I lead the conversation because I'm curious and I don't have a lot of time. So I'm not spewing a lot of details myself. Especially about a series that I have so little experience with, but I'm glad to have played what I did, and I'll continue playing it. It's a fine enough RPG. It hasn't turned me off yet. What about you guys? Just final thoughts. We already kind of talked about like what you would recommend people play first. So just like, final thoughts on Breath of Fire. John, what do you think?
I mean, like I said, I wish they would bring this series back in some way. I mean, give some of the characters cameos in fighting games or something. I mean, it's just kind of in a sad state of affairs that you can't go back to these games, but by buying the
weird,
very expensive copies.
In a lot of ways, the fact that they're on the Nintendo Switch Online app shows that Capcom doesn't value them. Because what's not on the Nintendo Switch Online app?
Any other Capcom games? Yeah.
Street Fighter. Games that they're actually remastering and remaking and continuing the series.
Yeah, and you can't get any of the NES Capcom platforming games. I mean, you don't like the Disney stuff. You don't get anything else.
That's different. And even those got re-released, though, on Switch.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they got to work that out with Disney. But I mean, Breath of Fire, they own it. They could resurrect that series if there's somebody at Capcom that wants to do it. They could do it.
That's funny, Sam.
That's why they're free on the NSO.
I know, right? Moses, any final thoughts?
Play Breath of Fire 3. It's got nudity in it.
Damn. All right, let's do it. Now I'm sold.
2.5D.
There you go. Yeah, 2.5D.
Gross. So let's close this out before we get even weirder. Yes, thank you, Moses, for coming on and schooling us on some Breath of Fire. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we got some community couch questions. And then we'll close it on out. So stick around. Welcome back. Well, we have to sadly say goodnight to our friend Moses. So Moses, why don't you give yourself a plug one more time, let everybody know where they can find you and what you're doing.
Sure. Thanks, guys. It was great chatting with you about this series that I really love. You can find me on Twitter at the Well-Read Mage or on my e-zine, thepixels.com, the-pixels.com. You can find me on Twitch at the Well-Read Mage. That's R-E-D, not R-E-A-D. Don't be a dunce, people. Come on. You know how many people have been like, oh, I couldn't find you. We're like, really? Stupid.
If they don't see the logo, then how do they know?
It's like, I figure Red Mage should tip people off, but then I've had people be like, your name's the Well-Read Mage?
Come on.
They're like, do you know words at all? Do you say, oh, look, a magician pulling a
Mage
out of his head?
That's a good way to know. That's a good way to know if people should actually be following you or not, is if they can find you and understand.
Yeah. That's like,
I thought we were supposed to non-gate.
It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
And lastly, I got a podcast, Magecast podcast. A lot of fun. And fun podcasts are fun. So thanks for having me on this fun cast.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for playing our games, and we'll see you around, Red. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So Just a quick refresher for you guys. Remember, March is Paper Marchio. So if you have NSO Expansion Pack, a Wii U, or an N64, go ahead and play along with us. Paper Mario. Yeah, I thought that was fun. Now that I'm thinking about it, I could have done like Majora's March or something.
Marchora's Mask.
Marchora's Mask. None of that really.
Can't butcher it like
I'm
that,
just saying it's almost perfect enough we have to do it. I know it's a few months away, but Harvest June. Think about it.
Well, what Harvest Moon games are available? What's around? What's up? Just play whatever Harvest Moon game you want.
Games. Sure.
I know, but
just play Stardew Valley. It's Harvest Moon.
It's fine. I love Stardew Valley. I'll just do that all day. Anywho, Paper Mario, not Majora's Mask, but play whatever you want. Just play video games. We have 2 community questions on our couch tonight. We've got NeoPrime33, good old Tim, coming at us. He's got a question that says, have you ever or would you ever buy a game that you know you cannot play right now, but buy it for the backlog because you want to play it eventually? If so, do you have an example? If no, why not? And I'm guessing this comes with buying retro games, but still wanted to ask the question. I would say pretty much every game I buy.
That's what I'd said all the time.
It's for the backlog. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's like decision paralysis over here where I'll have an hour, but I literally will just stare at a wall of games and be like, I don't know, somebody give me something to play. And that's partially why we do like Retro Rewind and stuff like that, is so that we actually play the games we own or have access to, have a reason to. Otherwise, it's very difficult to choose something to play. I had a hankering for Donkey Kong 64. That's how I landed there. But usually it's kind of hard to land somewhere.
So there's very few people.
A video game, well, it's true. Like a video game is a time investment. And I like that time investment, but I don't have the time usually. So it's tough for me.
I believe it's a time investment, but I don't believe very many people have a hankering for DK64.
You'd be surprised.
Hey, when it hits you, it hits you.
When that
he
song,
just listened to the DK rap and got off.
when that rap happens, you're in for a ride.
Yeah, for Tim's question, I have almost 1,200 games. I think if I looked up the how long to beat for every game that I own, it's probably longer than my life that I've lived so far. Lots of backlog games.
I don't know.
I don't have it that bad.
I don't know though. Like 30 hours is a pretty good length for a game, but that's like you could stay up.
I've got a lot of RPGs.
I know, but you could stay up for one day.
If you didn't have a job or a family,
or have to sleep. I mean, come on. It's fine.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
No, I mean, I actually generally used to only buy games and then play them. I would overlap because I can play more than one game at a time, especially when it came to like I might have like a multiplayer game that I was playing, but it's not like a game like Super Smash Bros. You don't really like finish and then put on the shelf. You kind of just keep playing it forever. But I'd usually wouldn't buy a new like single player game until I was done with the previous one, or at least willing to give up on it for the time being. So I didn't have a huge backlog. That's kind of changed recently. The biggest culprit really is my Sega Genesis or my Super NT or Mega SG. I bought that kind of spur of the moment because I figured I might not be able to get one if they were going to sell out again. And then, of course, I went kind of on a shopping spree getting Genesis games, which individually didn't cost a whole lot, but I still haven't like made time to play most of them.
Yeah.
Nor have I played and especially buying collections. There's usually, I'll buy a collection, I'll play one of the games on the collection maybe, and there will be other ones that I'd like to play, but I don't prioritize it because I already played a game and I kind of got my like time's worth out of the collection already. So
especially
stuff like the
Genesis collection is
the Genesis collection, which has a lot.
So many.
Or like the Castlevania collection, which
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to. So yeah, I mean, it's weird though, because a lot of people talk about, a backlog like it's a problem, but I look at it more as like, wow, like look at how many cool games I have to choose from that I haven't even played yet. I think it's a great thing. Now, if I'm spending too much money, maybe I need to slow down, and that's fine because I can slow down because I already have all the games. So I can just,
My Switch is just a backlog machine. Like if something goes on major sale, like I bought the XCOM 2 collection for $5 when it just like dropped to
just because. And
I'm like, I want to play this. Like I love strategy. I love
XCOM's so good.
I know. I love games like that. I love Codename Steam and Mario vs. Rabbids. I'll cover, strategy cover shooter, but I'm never going to play it. When am I'm just not. I needed to like have a different life to have enough time to play everything on my Switch. It sometimes what I'll do is if there's a really good price in front of me for something, I'll buy it knowing I'm not going to play it for a long time. That's just a collector mentality. But, mainly I only buy games that I'm actually interested in and not just because they're rare. Like that tends to be my mentality, these days. So, not that I'm going to go play it right now, but that it's something that I either feel like I have to own because I love the character or the developer or somebody told me it was cool or I know, or I have nostalgia. Like if it's just,
I will say there's a few too that like I've bought since I started streaming that I'm like, this would be really cool to stream and really cool to stream as my first playthrough. So I've put some just kind of on the back burner that like, I don't want to just play it anytime. I want to wait until I have time to stream it.
Right.
So that, like, there's some of those too. Which again, I don't think it's a bad thing per se.
Yeah. Cool. Flightsy has a heavy question for us. He says, how are you guys handling everything that went on in the world since the last episode aired? Probably, almost definitely referencing the war between Russia and the Ukraine. It's like I was in middle school for 9/11, which felt very close and very like dangerous and imminent and terrifying. And this is not that. It's very much like overseas. If I didn't have Twitter or wasn't connected to the internet in any way, I wouldn't even know that it's happening. So there's no real anxiety for me. That being said, like I definitely feel like I need to support that cause, support Ukraine however I can, either financially or just through, like praying or support however I can, because it's good to be aware of what's going on. But I don't feel any kind of real anxiety about it personally. What about you guys?
Pretty much the same as you. I mean, 9/11 was a way different thing just because it was on our home front, and
exactly.
I was already in high school and thinking, they're going to reinstate the draft and I'm going to get drafted because of this, type of deal. So, I mean, not that that's bad, but, just waking up one day and, thinking about something you never thought about before. I had no intentions of being in the military or anything. So, I mean, it was something that was very heated and very crazy at the time.
The only reason I make the comparison to 9/11 is because like the war in Iraq felt a lot more. This is just how I felt. I was younger and it was a lot more ambiguous or ethereal to me than Russia attacking Ukraine for seemingly no reason. So I have no real connection to that. And like people fought bravely in Iraq. So I don't want to downplay it in any way. It's just, I guess, my experience. That's why I connect it more with 9/11 because that was a more emotional experience. So, yeah.
It's also like one of the last similar experiences that
Sure.
we think about whenever, you
Yeah.
know, recent history.
Oh yeah, sudden change to what you thought was peaceful, I
Mhm.
guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the same as I think it's a little strange to be super anxious from the other side of the world where the war is not being fought.
Mhm.
Obviously, like you might know people.
Oh, sure.
It is a small world. You might know people who live in Ukraine. You might know people who are, in the military, wondering if they'll get deployed there. It has a cost. All of this not to be, cold or distant, but I mean, my life is not the one that's in danger here.
Right.
There are people's lives who are in danger,
Mhm.
not mine.
Mhm.
And I think we can be aware of that without, not to be afraid of it, but to be, concerned for other people is the appropriate response.
Exactly. And I think that's what we're all kind of feeling. Just pray for the Ukraine, pray for peace, hope for the best outcome possible, so yeah, I think that's about all I can say. There's one thing that I'm looking up that I wanted to plug, and I want to make sure that I get this down. Dang it, I can't find it now. Okay, sorry. Gaming for Guru is back to support autism research on behalf of Bobby Pauls, who tragically passed away close to a year ago this week from COVID complications. He was, if you don't know who Bobby Pauls was, he was also known as the Nintendo Guru. Just a great guy, super big in the community, and he was a pillar in the community and was a very, very he made an impact on you if you ever spoke to him or met him. And I was talking to him about coming on RetroLogic before he went to the hospital in October of 2020, and then he never came out of the hospital. So it was horribly tragic what happened to him. His memory lives on. I see people talking about him all the time on Twitter in the spheres that I'm in. So check out Gaming for Guru. I think it's March 4th through 6th. There's going to be some streaming and some fundraising for autism research on behalf of Bobby Pauls. So that's happening. Go check that out. I wish I had more info in front of me. I'll have more info next week when it's happening. It should be happening when we're recording. Actually, it might be too late. Go look it up. Just Google it. You'll find it. You know how to find stuff. Well, we ended this episode on a very down note. So, anybody have any jokes or a funny story that happened this week that they want to
Just go cheer up with Paper Mario.
do? What?
It's funny.
Or
So
Donkey
just go
Kong
cheer up with
64,
Paper Mario.
Or
I like to laugh at that game.
Sam,
Donkey Kong 64.
yeah, just go play some Donkey Kong 64. It's fine. It'll all be good. Go play some Paper Mario and laugh. Have a great time. You guys, Triangle Strategy is coming out this week.
Yes, it is.
Yes. I know everybody's going to be playing that as well. Very excited. I guess I could jump into the demo before it comes out, but you know me, I'm not going to actually
Do
play
it.
I'm not going to actually play any video.
I already
games.
played the demo twice.
I know, right?
I'm saving the demo in case my copy doesn't make it from overseas on launch day. That way I can still play a little bit.
Yeah. I actually did something I never do and bought mine off Amazon because I had a gift card. Somebody gave me a Amazon gift card, and I was like, oh, I'll buy something I was going to buy anyway because I don't want to necessarily support Amazon, but that's not here nor there. That's a me thing. So thank you for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check me out on Twitter and Instagram at RetroLogic Games. I shouldn't plug my Instagram. I haven't posted there in months. Don't go to Instagram. Go to Twitter. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in my Twitter bio. You can also find all the things. The merch store with the stickers, and t-shirts. The link to the Discord community, all the podcasts, all the things over at the website retrologic.games. Thanks for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye now.
Bye.
I haven't bought a 12 pack of soda in like probably 10 years. And I was like, you know what? I want some damn root beer. And I got some.
The last time I did was the last time I moved because I wanted to give people soda that were helping me move. And then nobody wanted any.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Sam?
People are getting away from soda. People are nice and healthy now. And I usually am, but I wanted root beer. So I got it because I'm an adult and I can do that.
The thing I've noticed since I stopped is that I cannot stand even the little bit flat soda now.
Oh, no.
Like,
Mm-mm.
I don't know. You used to just like chug all that down, but it's like, no. Nope.
If you get a soda from a restaurant, you take a sip and then there's like not enough syrup. And so you're drinking like weird, like kind of flavored carbonated water.
Carbonated water.
Yeah. Moses, what's your favorite soda? Do you drink soda?
I've got one kidney, so I try to stay away from soda.
Yeah, that's a good.
But I do have favorite sodas. I really like cream soda and root beer.
Yeah, I'm a root beer guy
so
for sure.
So more the vanilla-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than the lime stuff.
Well, let's do our show topic. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right.
Is it soda?
Yeah, we're going to talk about soda because that's
Breath of soda.
Breath of soda.
Soda logic.
Soda of fire?